make it look easy. Oh, no way! I thought you would have made her, buddy.
So this is actually a lot steeper than it looks, but I think Andy just didn't have his machine in diff lock here.
Whoa!
You can tell people haven't used this trail in a while because all those rocks used to be exposed, and you can see they had a little layer of moss over top of them. But we used to come up here in quads, and like it doesn't look steep, but I remember just about flipping it over backwards before on this one,
Yeah, he's got
the quad.
Folks.
So the original cut line used to go straight just to the right of the side-by-side there. You can see it's all totally grown in now, but that's a great big like 10-foot washout. The water just eroded that all the way. So I'm actually hooked up with my winch line, and again, it doesn't look like much, but I was out here once by myself before this trip, and I had that thing standing just about straight up and down. It scared the heck out of me. I just about rolled over backwards, so this time I wasn't taking any chances.
So there's the old trail, the old cut line, and it's too gnarly to, it's just too narrow in spots, and then it widens out. So we fell this tree and put this little guardrail here. At least that way, stops somebody when you're coming down here. It would stop you. Your roll cage, you just hit that. You're not going to roll down the embankment, because if you ever rolled off of here, that'll get you killed for sure. You would not be feeling too good, would you?
So I went up here for the first time in a long time back in 2016, and I was being ridden actually a little bit back then, but somebody actually cut this bypass. I never cut this one.
Well, I made it up like nothing. I put it in diff lock. It wasn't even scary with that guardrail. Totally different. Just, yeah, not even an issue. And just makes you that, gives you that security, right? Well, anyways, Andy, he's going for it. He's placed some rocks, folks. You never know what could happen here. He might make it. It's this, I think it's this side, Andy, you're not going to be able to make. It's hard to say, folks. Here he comes. He's going for it. Terex 4. Is he going to do it? No way. Maybe bump it. Yeah, at least. Oh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. No way, he made it. Awesome. Wicked, Andy. Now he's going up to the flying trestle. That is awesome. He made it with the Terex 4. Now he's going to get stuck here. Nope. Wicked. He made it. Awesome. Well, that's cool. He just built up that side, and that was enough to make him not flip over. I think I would have flipped over there. Cool. No, you did it like nothing. Okay, well. There we go.
So I think next time I come back here, I'm going to build up that spot on the left, and I'm going to build like a higher spot, like a berm, because it's actually quite steep there. And then it'll divert the water and help us get up the bank.
Well, this trail is getting really good. We've been clearing out stuff and fixing things up. Now, I haven't been on this trail for about probably 2005, I would say. It was the last time I was on this trail. And it should, like right now, it should run into a cut block, and then we should just be able to loop back. But I just want to see if we can punch through, or it's going to be too ugly in the cut block and we'll have to turn back, but we're going to find out.
I've been trying to keep these trails open since like 2003 or 2004. And in behind the side-by-sides, I have a picture of where we fixed the trail once. Yeah, it was a great big rut there, and I remember dropping a tree and putting a big stump and everything else, and then we just buried it. But I used to take my friend's Jeep. He gave it to me for a summer. The deal was I would fix it all up for him. He'd let me drive it. And I think that was 2006 when I first got Chevelle. But anyway, took that Jeep all up and down these trails, and so they were pretty decent back then, but now they're, you know, barely wide enough for a quad in some spots.
Good call, Andy. You want to rip my boot? Not a track on it. Look at this. This hasn't been traveled in many, many years. Yeah, she needs a good cleaning, but first we'll see if it actually goes to where we need it to go.
Well, this is where the trail was actually pretty good, but as we went on, it got totally grown in, so I had to we just stopped and we turned around. But yeah, it's just hard for me to believe that nobody's actually tried to keep these trails open. They're super cool little trails, but they get grown in so fast. It's just so rugged here.
it's that time of day. We're gonna turn around. Trail's too grown in. I have to come back and open it up.
35 minutes completed. You covered 0.62 kilometers. Your current speed is 4.0 kilometers per hour.
So behind us is the trail up to Cap Bridge, and that's the one that I've been trying to open up over the last couple years. And it's just super grown in, so it's taken a lot of time. But this is just heading back to the road. We checked out that little trail, and it dead ended. So what didn't dead end, just was grown in. So we turned around and we were going to head back, and we're basically trying to get to a spot where we can set up camp for the night. Sleeping out here in the bush, not real safe. Trees come down all the time out here with just a little bit of wind. So it's pretty dangerous, and it's super rugged. So it's major grizzly bear country. I mean, the whole area is, but especially when you're in thick bush like that. I've slept there before, but it's definitely not preferred. So I got a little spot in mind, and that's where we're headed right now. Okay, so now we're on the newer logging roads. This road was always here, like farther up, but then it just dead ended for years. And then when they logged this whole area, they had to punch in some new roads. They'll just leave them there, but they put these little erosion ditches in just to, well, both to keep the vehicles out, but also like the big trucks and stuff, Jeeps, and but also just to stop the erosion, right? So now we're just coming up to one of the newer cut blocks, and there was always a little trail that went over to this area that we want to camp at, and it's kind of down low, just not close to the base of those mountains, but in between where we are and those mountains. That's where we're going to set up camp for the night. So we're just coming up to the trail here.
We were trying to take a trail that comes out of the bush there, and then have to come through this cut block here. We're gonna take this little trail I ribboned off the other day and head over here.
I can see somebody laid a log down to mark the trail, so I know somebody's using it. And it looks like there's some fresh strawberries there. Yeah, I think those are little raspberries, and we had a whole bunch of them at work. And we were feasting on them, and man, they're just delicious. I mean, they're just like ones you buy in the store, but you get these little patches of them, and you also see like blueberries and stuff. But so it's pretty cool after they've logged that this stuff is all growing up. Like they don't plant that stuff.
This is that other trail I wanted to see if this is our old. I'm pretty sure this is our old cut line trail, or at least some of it.
So that other trail that I was on that was all grown in, we had to turn around on, that's where this one would link up to. But I haven't been on that one for years.
Well, we're at camp. We got our little shanty going here. Chateau de Indie Woods. There's a little diesel heater. We got our, we're gonna see how warm it gets inside. We got our vent open on the one side for now, but we're gonna open it up on the other side too. Let's go inside and see. I had the door open, so. Oh, yeah, we're not gonna be cold tonight. What's the temperature here? It says it's 14.7 degrees, about 15 degrees. Yeah, easily. Yeah, there's a fair amount of room in here. It gives off a bit of a smell, almost like a little bit of a smell from that hose, you know? Yeah, we got two full-size cots in here. And we got lots of space down the center. Still a little bit of room on the sides there that can push the pots over a bit. Lots of room. These are the lights I normally want in here. I've got some clear ones. Okay, yeah, it's about, it said it was about 7 degrees outside, so that's pretty good. And I've just had this door open that whole time. So we're gonna shut it, come back later in a bit. Cook up some smokies over the fire and we'll check it out. Well, it's 17 degrees inside. We'll be nice and warm tonight. What's it outside? 5.8 Celsius. What's that in Fahrenheit? 42.4 outside and 62.6 inside. It's nice and it'll be nice and warm in our sleeping bags. We hung our food outside. We heard that crazy freaking beast of a sound last night. If you could have heard that sound, it sounded like a demon is what it sounded like. It sounded like a monster roaring, didn't it? Like seriously, not a word of a lie. Yeah. It was this echoey, just kind of like a growl / scream all in one shot, and it kept doing it over and over and over. And then finally I went and woke Andy up, or he kind of heard it too, but I was like, shut this diesel heater off so we can hear it. And then it was doing it as it was kind of going away from us. So I think whatever it was kind of walked up. It must have been a grizz. Anyways, nighty night, sweet dreams. Well, it's almost 7 a.m. folks, and we're up. The tent heater went out, and Andy went and looked, had an error code, and it's out of fuel, which is really surprising because I hardly used any last night. Now it's 17 degrees in here, almost 18 Celsius, and dropping fast. Anyways, Andy's gonna put some fuel in it. Sounds like there's a duck out there. Okay, I'm going back to bed. It is 4.1. Andy's got to prime it. It was out of diesel fuel. I don't think he had it full because it bounces around, and he had it inside the cab of the side-by-side because that Terex doesn't have much of a box in the back, and he's got a box already in there in his tailgate. So what happened was he only had it filled up, I think, half or something before he went to bed. Anyways, he's got to prime the fuel pump because it ran out of diesel fuel, so he's going to prime it. And we got a bit of diesel smell in here, so he put the vent outside and get it going. I'm going to stay here in my little cocoon, stay warm. But it's gotten pretty darn cold in here. It's almost there's no wind in here, obviously. It is pretty windy outside. That's the awesome thing about these tents. You can tell it's been windy out, and you don't feel it in here. The sides don't move. It's super quiet. But yeah, when that heat goes out, it loses it right away. Even if they had like an insulated top, it might even help these things. Or I could just get an insulated shack. Fix that. Well, Andy said he didn't even have to touch it. It just primed itself, and it's going now. You can hear it wrapping up. We're running low on diesel fuel, so I told Andy maybe we should stick some 5W40 diesel in there and just mix it with the remaining diesel fuel, but he's not sure. He's worried about the injector. But I did see some YouTube videos where guys are running waste motor oil in these things and having no problems, so we'll see. We might have to add engine oil if Andy wants to take the risk there with the injector. We'll have to read up on it. Well, it sure works good for drying off boots, those little heaters. We took the end right off, and now it's really kicking out heat. Took that piece off. Really feel the heat coming out now. Well, after the episode we had the other night with that screaming beast, grizzly, whatever the heck, Sasquatch, whatever was making that horrendous sound in the bush, we definitely hung our food last night. We weren't taking chances. We usually put it away from camp, but I don't always hang it, but it's a good idea, especially if you're tenting it. And we didn't sleep in any of our clothes that we cooked in, right? So, oh, pick up some garbage, folks. Yeah, so good idea just to hang it. A big grizzly could probably just go up on his hind legs and give it a couple swaps, but whatever. Okay, well, we're just gonna head out. We're gonna hit the trail and go have lunch or breakfast on the trail. I gotta do I gotta pull the carburetor apart on this thing. My paper towels have finally pulled out. I got paper towels holding my needle down. I haven't replaced that part yet. It seems like about every 500 kilometers I gotta put new paper towel in it. So we'll do that now, and then she'll be good for another little bit. It's just the paper towel pushes up, it saturates after a while with fuel, and then it pushes out, and then the needle lifts and it makes it run rich. It runs good on the low end, just not at wide open throttle. Burns lots of fuel too, which we can't afford to lose on this trip. Okay, we're almost ready to go. So there's the problem. There's my little paper towel that's lifted up a little bit. There's 2 balls of paper towel in there this time. There's supposed to be a little plastic piece with a spring and an O-ring, but the housing of this piece here, this slide, is broken. So what it's doing is it's letting this needle lift up. See that play? Lifts up just a 1/4 of an inch, but that's just enough to make it run rich. So when I hold it full throttle, this slide lifts, or even 3/4 throttle, the slide starts to lift, but so does this needle. It's just getting too much fuel, overfueling. So I'll pull these paper towels out, put 2 more balls in, and it'll be good for another little while. Until I buy this slide. Or come up with a better fix.
Okay, so update. I went on another 2 or 3 day trip. Started acting up on me again. I fixed it back then, and it's still going a year later.
Okay, well, there's something going on with this red wire here. So we're gonna fix it up. We're just gonna, there's a loose connection in here or something. I gotta rewire this and put good wire on. They use cheap wire on these Chinese side-by-sides. But for today, we'll just kind of get it going again. So it's charging.
Yamaha Rhinos that these were cloned off of, they had the same problem with the solenoid that would fail, and this one eventually did fail, but I pack a spare. So this is a random camping area. People, usually there's about, 2 or 3 groups that camp in here, but there used to be a sawmill right in this area. I'm not sure if this was part of the actual sawmill location, but it's just been a spot that I've camped at over the years a few times. So with Team China all patched up, we started to hit the trail, and I think we had a little bit of cereal before we left, but the plan was to eat somewhere, have a good meal on the trail. So this is just coming through, I don't know what you call it, it's a historic native area. There's, some teepees and stuff, they do their ceremonies and whatnot here. But I just wanted to go and check out a trail that wasn't really popular, and there were some old horse troughs on them and stuff from when they did the horse logging back in the day. So we decided to head for that trail. Hard to believe, I used to take my my old F-150 down this trail quite regularly, actually, just about every night after work. This is what I did for the last 20 years. But eventually this trail got really grown in, and I like to bounce around, check out new areas, but I definitely did some major clearing on this trail. I remember one time it was just barely passable with my truck, and it's good to see that it's still actually being used today.
Because that's why they're driving up here, but there they are. Geez, I haven't been here since I think 2012. Yeah, this is the old horse troughs from back when they used to horse log right in here. You can see the main trail went down low, and there was just a little vague trail coming in here. There they are. They quit horse logging here in 1969, and then they went mechanized. And there's the old troughs. Well, we're just gonna take a walk in here and see if we can find anything. I've never walked in here before. You never know, might find some cool old stuff. But yeah, back then, I think I heard that the men used to log, they used to cut 600 trees a day. Now the men would have been logging with chainsaws. Old, you know, old Home Lights and Pioneers and Partner and even Husqvarna. I know I seen a picture of somebody holding an L77, but this was all big timber back in those days. So this would have been logged back then already once. You can actually see the stumps here. Oh, and he found something. What is it, gold? Look at the size of the trees back then though. Look at that. That's one of the old stumps. Oh, that's from the old horse. Oh, look at that, eh? Cool. That's the, yeah, the thingamajig by the, whatchamacallit. Somebody here will know. Somebody will know what that is. Cool. Okay, well, he found something already. I'm gonna go look. I think I see something. I see it. Oh, maybe that's just a stump back in here. There, you can see all the old stumps. There was definitely some big wood back then. Can you imagine cutting? Could that be true? 600 trees a day? Wow, that'd be a lot of work. Must not have been those big ones. I don't know. Maybe it was 60 trees a day. Somebody told me 600. Wow, well, it goes up a hill. Kind of all open back in here. See, they were just learning logging back then, right? So they didn't know, like, I mean, they had logged for years, but they were just learning sustainable logging where they replanted. And so they tried all these different things. All these different things to help the trees grow back better. So sometimes it didn't work and sometimes it did. And in this case, yeah, well, some grew back, right? Usually there's not so much open space like this between the trees. So maybe this is just natural regen or something. So this is the old road right here. I could just tell that this was their old haul. This would have been their skid trailer, their main road up into these blocks right here. You can just see it, barely, but you can. And he said, and he found this other trough down here, so we're gonna go look for it. Okay, here's something else here. What's this? This has got bigger 2x10s or something on it. Another trough. This is, yeah, a little trough there. Cool. Yeah, and then there's like a big hole dug here. This would have been probably their garbage dump or something. Look at that, eh? Oh, that one hit by lightning. It's at some point in its life. All burnt up, eh? Is that an old poplar or is that an old Douglas fir? Look at the size of the bark on it. Because that one, because I did used to have Douglas fir on here. I don't know my trees big time, but maybe it's just a big old poplar. It's got great big chunky bark though. I figured this trail would be half decent because the last time I traveled it in 2013, it was being used again, but you'll see here that wasn't the case. So let me tell you the history of what I know about this trail. So this one here, the first time I ever rode it was probably about 1999 or 2000, right around there. We were on quads, me and a buddy did it, and it was brutal. I mean brutal. So much that, you know, I said, never again, I'm not coming back, you know, and that was on a quad. Then fast forward to about 2013, I did that trail in my other side-by-side with my buddy. He had his Razor. It was super tight, but we were actually able to do it. We did a little bit of cutting, not a ton, but we did do a little bit. But somebody had actually been using it then, so I was like, "Oh, right on, cool, it's being used." Okay, and then fast forward to 2020, fall of 2022, and we ended up taking this trail, and it is brutal again. But that spot back where Andy was going through the dip, that's too bad I don't have the other video. I had it on my phone for the longest time, and I deleted it. But
I actually have a video of me going through that dip, and there's no vegetation, and there's a big mud hole there, and you can see that mud hole obviously dried up. That's what that dip is that Andy's climbing, and all the vegetation, all the trees grew back up, and you'll see from here on in it gets brutal.
Kinda.
So if we weren't on, you know, a 3 or 4, well, in this case 4-day trip, you know, we'd probably do a little more clearing, but we're trying to get from point A to point B. We're still a long ways away from where we need to make our next camp, or where we're maybe thinking of having a camp. So we just we basically bushwhacked where we could, and then we cleared a couple of sections, and there was a few spots that just weren't even passable, so we had to cut them out. So this went on, and there was so much leaves, like I think there was like 2 feet of leaves in the floor of my side-by-side. So yeah, serious bushwhacking.
Well, it didn't take long to get thrown in. I don't think it goes like this the whole way though. We don't have time to clear it out today. We'll have to do it another time. We got quite a ways to go to set up our next camp, so we're just gonna soldier on here. It's only about 2 kilometers of trail. We've already done about 1 kilometer, so it'll get better. I hope. Well, this trail is what you call brutal. Whole back's full of leaves. We've been trying not to cut, but this one here, I'm gonna have to stop and open it up here. Little Mac has to come out. That's okay. What's beyond here? Yeah, it's bad. That's okay. That's other than that, it's a good trail. Just the willows, right? The alders, whatever you call them. There's the old block. Boy, she's cold in the bush here compared to back there, eh?
So the trail got so bad, and I didn't have my limb risers on the side-by-side at the time, so I just took some tie straps, and tied them from my bumper up to my roll cage, and it's amazing what a difference limb risers make when you're bushwhacking like this.
Follow me, Andy. I know the way. Okay, Andy's gonna try it here. Not too bad, but a little scary because if you go off there, it's not gonna be fun.
Nope.
I didn't really even have a plan there.
Oh, geez.
I can see quite a ways, and there's trees down all the way.
Yeah, we'll have to abandon ship and take that road.